Hello and welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm John Bachman. Joining me right now from Washington, D.C. is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, a member of the Foreign Relations and Budget Committee. Senator, thanks for being with us.
Hello, John. How you doing?
All right. Well, let's also talk for a brief moment about the budgetary issues facing Washington and the country right now. We're coming up against another debt ceiling limit, and the last time the fight got to this point, we wound up with those automatically triggered spending cuts known as the sequestration. You are now calling for more triggers, including a mandatory congressional approval measure that would delay Obamacare for another year. How exactly would that work?
Well, what I'm looking at is what just might be possible. And, the fact that President Obama really basically admitted that Harry Reid and Senator Max Baucus is correct that the implementation of Obamacare is a train wreck. And so that's why he issued that executive order to delay the employer mandate. And, I don't think he had the legal authority to do so. So I think the House very intelligently said, Mr. President, you don't have the authority to do so, but we're going to help you out here. We're going to codify the delay in the employer mandate. And they passed that bill through the House with the support of 35 House Democrats. Then they went on to say, no, it's not fair that employers get a break. They get a delay. Individuals should have that same delay. So they passed a law in the House that would delay the individual mandate. 22 House Democrats joined in that effort. So I'm thinking it just might be possible if we attached a one-year delay to the CR, maybe we could get enough House Democrats and maybe even Senate Democrats to join us in that effort. Possibly that would put pressure on President Obama to sign it. If not, if not, I think
with things going on in Syria. We've seen some Democrats talking to Republicans who don't normally talk to each other, so that might be a possibility. We've also heard these threats of shutting down the government. I know you've called them in some other interviews a Democratic scare tactic, and that might be true, but there's also a lot of evidence that those scare tactics worked back in 2011 politically for the Democrats, and that, in fact, did a lot of damage to the GOP, the economy, and the U.S. credit rating. I know you and other Republicans say there is a way to move ahead without a continuing resolution, without a debt ceiling increase, and avoid default. That doesn't always matter on Wall Street when sometimes emotions get the better of investors. Even if we can avoid default, are you confident that we can still avoid an emotional reaction from the media and the stock markets if this were to play out as you hope it does?
Well, my bottom line on any continuing resolution or debt ceiling increase would be attached to those must-pass pieces of legislation, some excellent pieces of legislation that prioritize spending, that basically take the Armageddon type of government shutdown, showdown off the table, the brinkmanship for all time. There's no reason. You've got two-thirds of the federal government budget that is already mandatory spending. It's going to go on. The vast majority of even discretionary spending, defense spending, air traffic control, USDA inspectors, all those types of things are going to continue anyway. So why not pass a bill in case we haven't passed appropriation bills or a continuing resolution that would just continue government at current levels? And actually, Rob Portman has a bill in the Senate, and I believe it's James Langford has a companion bill in the House that basically would continue spending at current levels. If you can't come to an agreement on spending after 90 days or 120 days, you drop that 1% to put pressure on the political process to actually come to agreement. That's on a continuing resolution. Then, under a debt ceiling, we should take a government default off the table for all time as well. So that'd be a spending prioritization bill in case we can't come to terms in terms of increasing the debt ceiling. In other words, increasing the debt burden on our children and grandchildren until we can actually start extracting from the other side real reforms designed to save things like Social Security, Medicare for future generations. So all I'm saying is, in the end, if we can attach to either a continuing resolution or debt ceiling the pieces of legislation that will take these shutdown showdowns off the table, I think that would be a good thing. And I think from a standpoint of political pressure, I think it'd be pretty hard for President Obama to not agree to sign a continuing resolution that the only thing attached to it in the end would be those types of pieces of legislation that take the shutdown showdown off the table forever.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Americans are looking for a way to avoid all that drama. They don't want to see it play out like that. And I know you've also called for more unity on the GOP side of the aisle, and as Republicans to continue to try and work to defund and delay Obamacare. Wouldn't one of the best ways to do that would be to have the entire party rally around one solid plan to replace the president's law, not a series of different plans from different lawmakers. I'm talking about one plan endorsed by the entire party that's a real concrete alternative to Obamacare. Isn't that the best way to really unify the party?
Well, I certainly believe that what Republicans, conservatives should be doing is utilizing the one lever of power we have here in Washington, the House, and we should be passing the replacement components of Obamacare. We should be showing the American people what we're for. But you're absolutely right. From my perspective, we do need to assemble a pretty broad coalition. And the point I've been trying to make in speeches in Wisconsin and across the country is that if we are united as Republicans, as conservatives, as libertarians, as moderate Republicans or conservative Republicans, we just might have a chance, and I hate to say this, a slender chance of saving the financial future of this country. If we are divided, John, we lose. And I believe if Republicans, if conservatives lose, I think America loses. So from my standpoint, I'm trying to point out that your 80, 90, 95% friend is still your friend, and we have got to do everything we can to show a positive agenda for America and try and remain as united as possible around strategies that are actually possible to achieve when you have President Obama in the White House and Harry Reid in the Senate. I mean, we're not going to solve this problem with a 90-yard Hail Mary pass. It's just simply not possible. We've got to be, I hate to say it, we got to be satisfied with making marginal gains, 3.5 yards in a cloud of dust. That's how we're going to start working toward, really solidifying our financial and securing our financial future for our kids.
That's right. 3.5 yards, 3 times in one series is all you need to get that first down. Senator Ron Johnson, thanks so much for being with us. Pleasure talking with you, sir. You have a great day.
You too.
Thank you for watching Newsmax TV.